Okay, welcome back. Our first story today is Trader Joe is getting big. I know that just sounds weird, but they have already announced that they are going to be opening a minimum of 12 new stores in 2025.
Ah,
The locations have already been announced. We're looking at places in California, Washington, Tennessee, DC, Pennsylvania, New York, Alabama, and Maryland, which is kind of like all over the map, not
yeah,
in a specific area. Now, what was interesting about this news story is the vice president of Trader Joe's mentioned that they are growing very strategically. And that strategy is that they are growing at a rate that they can sustain. Now, if you have been around the world just a little bit lately, you will see that all these companies are filing for bankruptcy and they're closing all these stores because, to be honest, they grew way too fast. They threw their stores on every corner
yeah.
and it was a volume game, you know? So I give it to Trader Joe's definitely for being very strategic. Okay. And they had this little blurb. It said, the new stores, they could be in an area where there is currently no Trader Joe available, or it might be in an area that's really densely populated and traffic patterns are such that getting from one Trader Joe's to another neighborhood, it may be close, but it may take a really long time to get there. And I instantly thought of not just like your urban areas, like your downtowns, but some of the more suburban areas. Like I know in the area that you live in, at certain times of the day, even, 5-10 miles could take 45 minutes,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
for sure.
So even though it may look really close on a map, when you think about like what they're saying with like traffic patterns and stuff like that, it would make more sense to be able to service more people closer together because where one is doing really well, having a second store would probably do really well as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure.
Okay. So, and he said that Trader Joe's criteria for locations is really all about access, ease of getting into and out of, and the flow of traffic patterns. Now, I don't know about you, but I am so sick of these stores and restaurants that you would love to go to, but you can't get to it.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those where like you're just looking at it, you're like I could get in it, but to get out, is it worth the time that it would take to turn it? Like there's one on a corner where there's no exit to return. Like if you're going this way, you could make a left and get to it really easily. But to come out and then to keep going this way, you'd have to travel like half a mile in the opposite direction.
And then do the
There's no
loop
point.
back and
Yeah.
because I don't know about you, but where I live, which is not like suburban at all, we're talking pretty rural, they love to do these where you can't make a hard left, you have to go up and take a u-turn.
Yeah.
And so now that totally changes where I am willing to go because if I have to, if I have to turn left into your location, but I have to go past it and come back around. So I actually really understand where he's talking about. He wants easy in and out access because trust me, as a consumer, that's what I want as well. And
Yeah.
I will avoid going to certain places simply for the fact that the access to it and the traffic pattern is awful.
Oh, 100%. Like the that gas station that I mentioned was general like a really good addition to the area because there's not a gas station within. There's a smaller one about three-quarters of a mile away. But if I think of the other directions, there's not one for at least 2 miles. And in a densely populated area, that's quite a ways. So especially if you're just trying to get gas on your way to work. So that can make a difference when you're sitting in 30 minutes of traffic.
Now, Trader Joe's are kind of a smaller grocery store. Like they're not as big as like a Kroger, stuff like that. But they still need a decent size, parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is about, especially like fast food restaurants and stuff, but they obviously don't pay attention to traffic patterns because
Crazy.
we had a Chick-fil-A that it had only been in the location for 2 years, and they had to shut down the entire parking lot for like 2 weeks, and they had to re-engineer it because it was backing up into the street and causing issues into the street because it was so bad.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced the people that design stores and the layouts and things like that only look at things from an aesthetics point of view and not a functionality point of view. Like I worked for a large coffee chain that's everyone is familiar with, and they renovated the store and put white unsealed tile on the inside. And they said, "Do you know we make coffee here?"
And
And
coffee doesn't stain anything, especially nothing.
right, it's so I truly appreciate the point of view that they take when like looking at a location and how it can benefit the community and the customers. I love Trader Joe's.
Now, here's the thing that just really totally got my attention. I loved it. It's only one line, but the vice president basically said that Trader Joe's is not interested in growing by just buying other chains and putting a different sign on the building. Okay. Now, if that wasn't the most subtle dig at these huge conglomerates like Kroger, Albertsons, Safeway, I don't know what is. But I got to give it to them because that type of stuff, it may give you like artificial growth on paper, but
Yeah,
how many new customers are you actually gaining? You're just kind of taking over somebody else's customers. So the fact that they are being so strategic and they are, thinking of the customer, I think their whole strategy here is just dead on. Perfect.
yeah. And the closest one is 45 minutes from my house, so I don't go often. But there are certain things that I love, love.
Part of me is happy that I don't have one because then I would want to go. But, if budgets weren't a thing, I would totally go all the time just to go browse. I mean, not even to necessarily quote unquote grocery shop, but they just have really good like food innovations, flavor innovations. Just
Their
the ideas and the inspiration would totally get it for me.
their frozen section alone is happiness. So they have soup dumplings. Have you ever seen soup dumplings? Okay.
Yes.
So everywhere else, like Kroger, Target carries them now. Target has their brand of them, and they're like $6 or $7 for a pack of six.
Mhm.
Trader Joe's are four.
That and see, there are some stuff that Trader Joe's has because they get compared to like Whole Foods a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things that are so, I feel like, economical at Trader Joe's versus Whole Foods. So it's
Yeah,
almost like comparing like a Kroger to an Aldi. You know what I mean?
kinda.
Whereas
Yeah,
like Whole Foods would be the giant conglomerate, whereas Trader Joe's would be the smaller store, a little bit more boutique, but better prices. So
yeah, yeah. I'd say that's about right.